Let's prove using Lagrange mean value theorem that tan inverse of 2 lie between pi by 4 plus 1 by 5 and pi by 4 plus half. Let's state what exactly is Lagrange mean value theorem. Lagrange mean value theorem, in short LMVT, states if a function f is continuous on the closed interval a b, so we should produce a function f that is continuous on the closed interval a b and differentiable on the open interval a b, so that function should be differentiable as well. Then there exists constant c in the open interval a b such that f dash c equal to fb minus fa divided by b minus a. C is lying in the open interval a b, that is same as saying c is greater than a less than b. So somehow we will use this fact that c lie between a and b, that is c is greater than a and less than b, to prove that tan inverse of 2 is lying between pi by 4 plus 1 by 5 and pi by 4 plus half. Now let's write what we want to prove once again. Tan inverse of 2 lie between pi by 4 plus half and pi by 4 plus 1 by 5. Once again, tan inverse of 2 lie between pi by 4 plus half and pi by 4 plus 1 by 5. Now if we subtract a number from the inequality, then the inequality still remains valid. Let's subtract pi by 4 from this inequality. Once again, we want to subtract pi by 4 from this inequality. Pi by 4 plus 1 by 5 is less than tan inverse of 2, that is less than pi by 4 plus half, and we want to subtract pi by 4 from this inequality. What is the advantage? We will see soon. Pi by 4 subtracted, pi by 4 subtracted, pi by 4 subtracted. Well, we do cancel pi by 4, we do cancel pi by 4 to say that we want 1 by 5 is less than tan inverse of 2 minus pi by 4, but pi by 4 is tan inverse of 1, okay, and that is less than half. Are these two equivalent? The answer is yes. When we subtract the first inequality, then we get the when we subtract pi by 4 from first inequality, then we get the third inequality, and when we add pi by 4 to the third inequality, then we get first inequality. So 1 is equivalent to, we say 1 is equivalent to this. Okay, now what's the advantage of writing this way? The advantage is we want f of b minus fa divided by b minus a. Somehow we want to use this inequality. Do we get f of b minus f of a? Yes, we can see tan inverse of 2 minus tan inverse of 1. So it is natural to define fx equal to tan inverse of x. Let fx equal to tan inverse of x on the closed interval a b, and we got a b to be 1 and 2 on the interval 1 2. Okay, nice. So if we define it this way, we need to make sure that this function is continuous. Is this function continuous? First point, f has to be continuous. Second point, f has to be differentiable. Then only we can apply Lagrange mean value theorem. F is continuous, tan inverse is continuous throughout R, so it's continuous on a smaller subset of R. It's continuous on 1 2 because tan inverse is continuous on R, throughout R. It is continuous for every real number. F is differentiable. Derivative of tan inverse of x is 1 by 1 plus x squared. So f is differentiable on the open interval 1 comma 2 because tan inverse is differentiable throughout R. So if it is continuous and differentiable, then by Lagrange mean value theorem, by LMVT in short, that stands for Lagrange mean value theorem, comma, there exists a constant C. There exists a constant C such that f dash C equal to f of b, let's write as it is, f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a. F dash C equal to f of b, that's tan inverse of b minus, oh, in this case we got b equal to 2, so tan inverse of 2 minus tan inverse of a, f of b minus f of a divided by b minus a, 2 minus 1. Now how much is f dash of c? F of x equal to tan inverse of x. So f dash x equal to d dx of fx, d dx of tan inverse of x, and that's equal to 1 by 1 plus x squared. Once again, f dash x equal to d dx of tan inverse of x, that is equal to 1 by 1 plus x squared. So f dash of c is the derivative of fx at x equal to c, so that is 1 by 1 plus c squared, and that turns out to be tan inverse of 2 minus tan inverse of 1 divided by 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1 is of course 1. So f dash c equal to 1 by 1 plus c square equal to tan inverse of 2 minus tan inverse of 1, and by Lagrange mean value theorem that c must be greater than a, which is 1, and less than b, which is 2. Now we want to use this fact that c is greater than 1 and less than 2 to get the inequality for tan inverse of 2 minus tan inverse of 1. Since c is greater than 1 less than 2, c square is greater than 1 square less than 2 square, and we can add 1 further to get c square plus 1. C square is greater than 1 less than 4. Let's add 1 throughout, so plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 to get that c square plus 1 is greater than 2 and less than 5. But we want 1 by c square plus 1, so we take the reciprocal. When we take the reciprocal, we get 1 by c square plus 1. It is less than half and greater than 1 by 5. How can we say so? C square plus 1 is less than 5. It is smaller than 5. So its reciprocal will be bigger than 1 by 5. Correct. C square plus 1 is bigger than 2. So its reciprocal will be less than 1 by 2. That's also correct. Okay, 1 by c square plus 1 is lying between 1 by 5 and 1 by 2. Let's call this to be equation star. So by equation star, by equation star, we got tan inverse of 2 minus tan inverse of 1, tan inverse of 2 minus tan inverse of 1 equal to 1 by c square plus 1, and 1 by c square plus 1 is bigger than 1 by 5, less than half. Okay, we got the inequality, but let's get the exact form that we want. we just want tan inverse of 2. So we know that tan inverse of 1 is pi by 4. Rest of the expression we can copy as it is. Half we copy as it is. Less than we copy as it is. 1 by 5 we copy as it is. Tan inverse of 2 we copy as it is. Minus we copy as it is. Let's add pi by 4 throughout. So once again, tan inverse of 2 we copy as it is, minus pi by 4 we copy as it is, half copied, 1 by 5 copied, and we add pi by 4, plus pi by 4, plus pi by 4, plus pi by 4. Well, minus pi by 4 plus pi by 4 gets cancelled, and we conclude that tan inverse of 2 lie between 1 by 5 plus pi by 4 and 1 by 2 plus pi by 4. Yeah, we did prove it.